Welcome everybody to this week's Cafecito episode. Today is January 24th. It is a beautiful Wednesday. We have a beautiful guest, Iliana Campos. Welcome. I'm so glad
Hi.
you joined us.
Hi. Hello, everyone. A pleasure to be here. And chat with you guys about life experience and a little bit of love.
Yeah, we were just chatting about family because you're in West Palm Beach and I'm in like I was in Lower West Palm, now I'm in North Broward. And it's like you cross paths with people and like you see each other online and digitally and then this is the first time we're actually having a face to face. You're a member of United Latinas.
I
So
am.
great. And I'm just so happy to like reconnect and just put sometimes we see people online, you have to make the in-person connections. There's nothing more valuable than that.
Definitely. I mean, we live out of connections. It's very important to be connected with our community, with the women in our surroundings, and especially with people who makes a difference, and they can impact your life. And you never know when you can be in assistance of others, and help others to get, to be better.
I love it. Exactly, that is so true, so true. So give us some background on you. We were just talking a little bit, but the audience doesn't know, so give us some background on you.
Definitely. Born and raised in Costa Rica. I'm a Costa Rican. And then moved to South Florida 20 years ago. I basically moved here because I fell in love and got married. And so I ended up here in Florida. I've been home for 20 years. And then I had my law degree from Costa Rica previously. And then, I did the same here. And I took the bar exam. I went all the way, and then I work a little bit with other firms to learn, and then I ended up open my own, and almost 4 years ago, and it's been a ride.
Wow, congratulations. So you went to law school over there and did everything there, and then you had to go do it all over again over here when you got here.
Yes, I went to FIU. Basically, it's like a master degree program. It's called
Mhm.
LLM.
Okay.
And then after you finish it, you're allowed to sit for the bar if you complied, with all the requirements and stuff. And that's what I did.
Yeah. So did they accept portion of your degree that you already had done some of the work? Yeah, right?
They accept some of the work,
Yeah.
and then you have to do, the master degree, and then
Yeah.
you have to do all the studying for the bar, which is like, insane. It's
Yeah.
crazy, but
Yeah.
it's so worth it, because I think I get to help people like me who want to come to this country and they want to build a better life, and it's very rewarding when you get good results.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell us about that. Tell us about that process, how it was for you, and then how you help clients go through that.
Yeah, well, for me, it was like a family petition because my husband was an US citizen. He's born Costa Rican as well. So we both have dual citizenship. And we met in Costa Rica. He was vacationing there. He was growing back here and there. And then when we decided to get married, we decided that we had a better opportunity here. And I remember the first right in the moment that I arrived to this country, I told my husband, I gotta get myself an immigration attorney because I was a lawyer and I always been very respectful of the laws, and I wanted to do everything the right way, and we did it. And but I remember the process always gives you like anxiety. It's a process. You're changing your life. You're packing your life in a bag and you come here, and it's a new thing. And then actually the immigration attorney who took my case, he offered me a job. And then I didn't take it at that moment, but then the idea stood in my head. And I didn't do any immigration back in Costa Rica. I was in corporate law and litigating. But when I came here and I went through the process myself, uh, at some point I was like, I want to do this to help other people. And then while I was going to law school, I came across with people who was working with corporate immigration, which is more like affirmative immigration, bringing people it's like they are professional or investors to the country, and to me it's like the most rewarding part of immigration, because you get to have more results, more positive results for people. And
Mhm.
I specifically work with a lot of professionals who apply for a visa, and then if they get approved, they can apply as well for a green card. So that's mostly my practice. And then of course with a lot of people who come to invest, and we do family petitions as well, everything affirmative in the firm. But it's very rewarding to bring people who are going to come to this country and impact in a positive way.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you said some stuff that I don't know because it's probably legal, like affirmative. What do you mean by that
Okay.
specifically? Hmm.
So basically, immigration law gets divided between affirmative and defensive. Affirmative is all the cases that you just willingly you want to apply for a benefit, basically, right? And when it's defensive is when you are basically in a removal procedure. You have to go to a court and defend yourself because you already in a procedure where you're going to be removed. For example, people who cross the border, and they don't have a visa, and they're not legally, they didn't enter the country legally, so they have to go that route. And then affirmative is different because you apply for a benefit. So it's two different,
Prior to your arrival, that one, the main difference is it's prior to your arrival. Yeah.
exactly. I mean, it means that depending how you arrive to this country, you have certain rights, and if you come here legally, you can apply to different stuffs. Like you have more benefits that you could apply to. But if you don't come legally, then you automatically usually put in removal procedure if they inspect you, because a lot of people are not inspected, so they don't know, they don't do anything.
Yeah.
But and then you have to face an immigration court, and it's another route. It's more it's complicated. And when you apply affirmative, you can even do it from your own country. You don't even have to be here to apply to fill that application. And until you have approved you are approved of that application, you even go through a consular procedure. And when you enter here, you're basically a resident. You just enter into the country, and then you get your green card like in the mail. It's pretty awesome. The process is amazing. Like a lot of
Yeah.
people don't know about this process, but it's amazing.
Yeah. I didn't know that, but it all makes sense how you're saying it, you know? So what's the process like? And like, when does someone, because if they're in their home country, if they get here, what, through a visa, through some a
Yes.
general work, or came on vacation kind of thing? Like, what are all the reasons why someone that's already here would say, okay, me quiero quedar, and now I'm gonna go.
Well, the process is called an EB2 NIW, which is like it's base employment visa. So you can apply from your country, or you can apply it if you have a legal not only entry, but you have a legal status in Costa Rica and here in the U.S. So, for example, there's a lot of people in a visa where they are studying, and an F1 visa, and then they can apply for another different process, because immigration works that way. Like you can have different applications if they are affirmative, different cases. But the thing is, like, they can apply from their country. For example, let's say Colombia. I'll have a lot of Colombian clients, and you are an attorney, and or a lawyer or an engineer, and you have at least between 5 to 10 years of experience. It's called
Mhm.
and you qualify, and then you apply for the visa, and when it's approved, you have to go through a consular procedure. Basically, you go through the embassy, you go to an interview, and if you are approved, they stamp your passport, and you have to come into the country. Once you enter the U.S., you receive your green card, and you are automatically a resident of this country.
Wow. And what's that whole process take? Like, what's the length of time from somebody saying, okay, I think this is my next move in life. I'm going to move, literally.
Well, it can take between 1 to 3 years. Depends of immigration, because I always tell people that the one thing that we cannot control is the times, immigration times. You
Yeah.
submit an application and it could be approved. I have had applications that are approved in a month, in 2 months, and they could last a year and a half. And then you have to go to a consular procedure, and then it takes the time. It depends of the embassy, it depends of the country. Like you can have a process in Costa Rica or in Colombia, and in Colombia they are more expedite. They will give you an appointment faster than in
Yeah.
Costa Rica or Mexico or Honduras. So it all depends. We cannot control the time, but we have an estimate, and some people get more lucky than others with timing.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, I wonder if different countries have different timings, but yeah, it's all relative on their systems that they have in place. So, what happens once they get here, like professionally, or if they want to invest? Like, what's that? Because you brought that up. Like, what is that process? How do you do that?
Well, when you're here and you're a professional, it all depends on what do you do for a living. For example, for attorneys, I went through the process myself. You
Hmm.
know, you have to find a way where you can find reciprocity. Definitely, you need to look into any laws in your state, because every state is different. Like, let me give you an example. Florida didn't have any reciprocity, but New York did. So what I did is I took my LLM and then I took the bar of New York, and that's how I got admitted into New York bar. I'm a lawyer from New York, but because I work with federal law, which is immigration, I can operate from Florida or any state, basically, from the US. So there are states that will allow you and have, with an LLM, will allow you to take the bar and then you become an attorney in this country. But there are states where will not allow that. So you have to do like your own homework and kind of figure it out what works best. Like,
Yeah.
for example, in my experience, a lot of engineers get hired right away because for them it's not that difficult to go through that process. Like, if you're
Yeah.
software and science engineer, is different from than, for example, a doctor. But there are different routes to go. Let me give you an example. The state of Utah, a couple months back, they approved this law where I think they were trying to bring more people into the state. So if you're a professional and you want to live there, then the reciprocity process is very simple. Whereas it's very difficult, for example, in a state like Florida. Florida is very conservative. So basically, depending on what you do, you have to do your homework and figure it out what is the best route for you.
Wow. Wow. And the same goes for like the investment side. Like, how does it that? Yeah.
The investment side is different because when you apply for an E2, that's how it's called, the visa, E1,
Yeah.
E2. You basically have to come here, or not come here. You have to make the investment here first. So you
Yeah.
have to spend the money, make the investment, and then present the case to immigration. You have to
Like
have,
buy a property. Like, what are the types of investments? Okay.
yeah, definitely real estate is not a good idea.
No.
Because I mean, a lot of the people is like, I have an apartment there, so can I apply for the visa? I'm like, no, 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 this doesn't work that way. It has to be an investment that's going to bring, it's going to bring it create a positive impact in the US. Let example, it's going to create jobs. It's going
Yeah.
to give jobs
So
to
business, commercial real estate,
exactly, like restaurants, beauty salons,
got it.
franchises. Franchises are really well seen by immigration.
Oh, that's
So
great.
you have to come and spend the money, prepare your business plan, and then ask immigration, okay, I did this, I spend this money, and can you approve my visa? So
Mm,
you have to spend the money first, and then you have to ask for permission. That's how it works. And then if you are approved, you don't get a resident card, but you are allowed to live in the United States, and you have your work permit to work for your own enterprise. So you have a lot of good benefits. It's not the same as a residence, though. Like with the EB2, I always say that is the best way to become a resident, besides the family petitions. I mean, the best way is the family petition, if you're being petitioned by your husband or your parents. But if you don't have any relative and you qualify for, an EB2 NIW, is definitely the best way. to become a resident of the United States. And EB2 as well, because EB2 is for people who have extraordinary abilities. Like, for example, we have represented football players, soccer players. I recently got an approval for a famous Costa Rican pianist. So, if you do something that sets you apart from the, regular people, and, you qualified for the criteria, then you can apply for that as well.
That's amazing. Like you don't, I don't, we don't, well, because I'm not in the industry. So are there anybody that when people don't get approved, what are the reasons why they wouldn't get approved?
Well, basically, like for example, for the NIW, what it stands for is National Interest Waiver. So when a person wants to come to the U.S., they have to prove that what they're going to do in the United States is substantial, it has merit, it's going to create an impact, it's considered national interest, and they are prepared to succeed that endeavor. So if usually in I don't have a lot of denials, thank God. Like I can count my denials with this hand.
Yes,
I've been doing this for a long
that's
time.
great.
But two things that I think are important to highlight is like, number one, when you get a denial, is usual because in common law and in immigration law, it's a practice that is very how to put this, it's very personal. So my take of what is a national interest is different, or might be different than the immigration officer. So they might not consider your plan of a national interest. They won't consider that what you are proposing doesn't meet the criteria for the EB2.
Yeah.
So it's very personal because it's their judgment. And immigration law is very ambiguous because they don't have the exact points. They give you like the idea, so you have to prove basically in the totality of the circumstances that this person applies for the job, or for what they are applying for, number one. And number two, the other thing that it's good to highlight is like, you can always approve again. So you can always, with my denials, what I have done is I have fixed whatever they saw, or sometimes you don't even have to fix anything. You just have to refile, and then you'll get your approval. So it's a matter of not giving up, and try to assess the situation, try to twitch it a little bit, and then you approve again, apply it again. And the important thing is like, if you get denied, nothing really happens, because it's not going to affect like your tourist visa. It's not going to affect you as a person at all. So why not try it again?
Yeah, absolutely. This is so interesting because like there's so many people that, especially with just chaos that's happening in the world, right? And then they're looking for, space where they can be artistic and create a dream and build a business. And I never fully thought it until, like how important, even what you do is to bring someone through that process, because the thing that stops most people is they don't know how. All the EB2, toda esa palabra, I'm like, "Ay, yo no sé qué es eso," like, I don't know
Yeah.
what it is.
I
And
always tell people that one of the reasons that why I do these things is
yeah,
because knowledge is power. Like, we have to inform our people, nuestra gente latina, like people have to know they have different routes, they have options, and you gotta inform yourself. You gotta, have the knowledge, and then you can make an informed decision, which is different of not knowing, So to me, it's very important to go out there and and tell people how it is, especially because to me this is personal. I'm an immigrant as well, so I really care about people.
yeah, that's awesome. You went through the process, and the additional schooling that you had to do here, and now like you're doing exactly what you've been through. You're giving that back and doing that for others. And what a blessing, because now, I mean, how much more creative and artists and businesses are we exposed to
Exactly.
that, this country is an immigration country. This country, everyone here is an immigrant.
Yeah, we are. Everyone here is from somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I love it. This has been such an enlightening conversation. Like, I didn't know these things. I still don't know the forum names, pero ya I'm gonna remember EB2 because you said that one a couple times. No sé
Yeah.
lo que, pero
Yes, yes. You can always go to my webpage. There's more
yeah,
information about it. But it's good for people to know because yesterday, actually, it's funny to mention this, but most of my clients, I don't know them personally because nowadays with the pandemic and globalization, most of the work is done remotely, like you and I are speaking right now.
yeah.
So yesterday, one of my clients was recently approved in Colombia. He's actually an attorney, and then he just entered, the United States as a resident, as a new, fresh resident. He came to, actually meet me, and it was very rewarding to see him because this process lasted for him like around 2 years.
Mm,
Now seeing the realization, like everything we did. Um, you know, envisioned 2 years ago is now, has come to an end, and now his life is, starting here.
yeah, that is so amazing. I mean, how much joy it comes from that experience, like having gone through something for 2 years, and it's the time is now. Now it's a new life that you get to build and design. It's
Exactly.
amazing.
Exactly. And not only that, I always tell people you have to feel like this is a privilege because not everybody qualifies for this type of,
Yeah,
benefits. But if you do, then you have something that sets you apart from other people. And come to think, to be able to migrate to this country and enter, for the big door, being a resident in a process that only lasted 2 years. I mean, that's something that a lot of people cannot even imagine. She's like, a lot of people keep asking, how come, like they still don't, couldn't realize that this can actually be done.
yeah. That is so awesome, Iliana. The like what the work that you do is like so needed, so profound. Like you are articulated everything and educated us. I feel like schooled. I've been schooled on immigration attorney, immigration law.
My pleasure, my pleasure. That's what I'm passionate about, and most of it I'm passionate about, changing lives, helping people to, you know, achieve their dreams like the way I did, because this country has given me so much. And it's not easy, no es fácil. Nothing good in life it is, but it's so worth it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much for being a guest. This has been enlightening. Definitely want you to share your website and any last things that you would love to share, so our audience can have it and we have it.
Yeah, definitely. We are in social media and all the platforms,
Yeah.
and you can look us up. IlianaCamposLaw.com. It's very easy, very
Easy.
fun,
Yeah.
and we have WhatsApp, we have TikTok, we have Instagram, we have everything, and we're constantly trying to post any news regarding to immigration as well, and trying to have this mission of inform people and try to pass on that knowledge.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much again. Hope you guys have been also learning a lot of little things from this episode. This has been great. For those of you, if you are not following us on our Mighty Hub, definitely want to encourage you to go into Mighty Hub. You too, Iliana. I don't think you're in there just yet.
Okay.
But it's a great opportunity to share some of these things. We'll share this episode in there también, and so that we just have this circle of network of really having this information at hand.
Of course, a pleasure. It's been a pleasure to be a member of the United Latinas, and that's how we have to remain united.
Yes, amen to that. Amen to that. Thank you guys, and join us next week for next week's episode. Have a blessed and beautiful day.